I just did a little experiment because I need to start working on the nose on the mask. I've noticed in my reference photos that there's a lot of texture that's on the surface of the nose that is not really present in the casting, so I automatically assume that's got to be done with paint or something that is applied afterwards anyway. So I was thinking about, like, how am I going to go about that? How am I going to add a little bit of texture? Just, you know, it's subtle, but, you know, it's there, and I think it'll make a difference. So what I did was I took some paint, and in this case my experiment was with 1975 Weathered Black by Archive-X. This is the same color I used for the base color of the mask way back when, and then I mixed in some baking soda, and I tried to, like, apply it with a brush, kind of like stipple it on and everything like that. It worked. Like, the effect is great. Like, I have my little tester here. The texture is there, it's subtle, it's exactly what I wanted. It was kind of difficult to apply because all the baking soda and paint would just clump up in the bristles of the brush and didn't want to come off the bristles of the brush because it kind of held it together. So I think I have to figure out a different way to apply it, which I was thinking about a paper towel maybe, or a cloth or a rag, something like that, and just trying to dab it onto the surface. But I was hoping I could use a brush because then I could do real fine, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, you know, and whereas doing something bigger, it's a little bit more big broad stroke, and I just feel like it might be a little sloppy that way. But either way, this texture I think is pretty perfect. I could use something else besides baking soda, which I was thinking about. I could use sawdust, mix that in with the paint, and that might give me a larger size texture, so I might try that as well. Here goes nothing. Alright, I would call that a big success. I got a little preview of what that semi-gloss clear is going to do to the surface, like once I have it and I can apply it, because when I was applying it, it was wet, so it had a little bit of sheen to it, and it looked dead on, exactly what I was hoping for. I will have to go through and, like, kind of rub the surface a little bit because there's some clumps and stuff, and I know they'll just come right off. Once it's dry, though, I'm not going to touch it right now. And I'll have to go through and touch up some edges and stuff like that I couldn't get my little wad of paper towel into. Just some little things like that, and then I get to do more layers, more colors, of course. Alright guys, not a whole lot left I can paint on the mask, but I gotta do a little bit more. I'm gonna be doing some splattering with this 1975 grimy black. Yeah, another Archive X. I gotta cover the whole mask and tape off just the nose because I don't want that splattering anywhere else. I just want it on the nose area. Once I've done that, that is all I can do until the semi-gloss arrives, and who knows how long that'll take. So yeah, let's get to masking and then splattering. Alright, that worked out pretty well. Only problem that happened was the tape pulled off some of the green on the wood around the nose on both sides, more on this side than that side, but it's real subtle. I'm going to be able to touch it up with a fine brush. It's not too big a deal. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm not going to bother to record that. The splattering worked perfectly. I mean, this is exactly the effect I was going for. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but I know that once I throw that semi-gloss clear on there, it's going to give that kind of cast iron sheen to it with the color, you know, and everything like that. It's going to be perfect. And well, I got a lot of it on me as well. I put on a glove on this hand and spritzed myself all over. You know, looks like I have a disease or something. Hope there's an ointment. Alright, it is now January 9th. I ordered semi-gloss clear on November 21st, and it still has not arrived. But I've gotten lucky. I went to the hobby store that is local to me, and they had it. They usually don't have like a lot of stuff. They had all kinds of cool stuff. Maybe it's from the holidays, like leftover stuff. But they actually had it, so I bought it. And I'm still waiting on the one that I ordered. And the funny thing is, like, this is like half the price of what I paid for on Amazon, which is crazy because usually Amazon's cheaper. But yeah, that means progress. But it also means I realized I could have done another step while I was waiting. Not that it matters, but yeah. One thing I got to do on the mask is the bridge of the nose. While it looks beautiful and sexy, it needs to be kind of green. If you look at the reference photos, it's got a green tinge to it. It's actually got at least two different kinds of green, like a dark green, kind of like what we used through here, and then a lighter green, like a copper oxidation type green, which is more like this sort of color. So I'm just going to use the color that I have been using all over the mask, primarily, which is Weyerhaeuser green, 1975 Weyerhaeuser green. And I'm going to do basically what I did with the dark speckling on this. Is I'm going to thin some down, I'm going to put on a brush and spritz it on, but I've got to mask off just that nose area. couple that did not quite go to plan, but I adapted, and I actually got the result I was looking for. It's looking pretty right on the money. It's hard to tell with all the masking on it and this light, but it's green, but it's not like overpowering green. The next thing I got to do is the clear coat, but I have to let this dry fully because I don't want the clear coat to activate or react with what I just put down, since it's such a thin, light coat. Well, that sucks. That is exactly what I didn't want to have happen, is that the tape pulled up the paint on that side. Just on that side, it appears. So that sucks. I'm going to have to touch that up. Not the end of the world. Also, annoying thing is I think I put on too much green. It's a little bit darker, or like, not darker. It's a little more green than I really want. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's just, now it really kind of blends in. I mean, it's kind of supposed to, though. Reference photos show it being pretty green. I'm going to review the photos again, take a look, see what I think, see what I feel. I kind of got attached to having it look very separate, and I know that's not necessarily accurate. Alright, it's going to be more roof brown after all, so just a little bit, just a little bit. Alright, I think that worked. It's very subtle. I mean, I don't know if the camera can even pick up the difference, but it's just added a touch more warmth and brought the green down just a hair, and that's exactly what I was hoping to accomplish. It gives it just that little bit more separation between the two materials, you know, the wood and the metal-like nose. So I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable now going forward with the clear coat trick. Alright, I'm happy. I don't think that even picks up on camera. It's really hard to show. It's the smallest little details, and then I fade them out. It's just a little bit of like extra oxidation, little light spots that showed up in the reference photos that are like a different color green. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my touch-ups where the paint got peeled off here. So that's the last thing, and then this is done. And I guess go sit on my shelf and collect dust. So let's wrap it up. Guys, that's it. That's the end of this project. It is done. It's still wet. Like it's just now done. I love the way it turned out. I got all the little details that I wanted and none of the stuff I didn't like. So I call that a success. It's not shiny where it isn't supposed to, which was the big thing. It looks old and it looks, you know, the nose looks somewhat metallic. It's pretty faithful to the actual prop, except for the sheen and some of the little minor details. Mine is probably in better shape than the castings, because I noticed in the real prop reference photos, a lot of the castings are pretty crappy too. So not just exclusive to this. I mean, actually, some of those details could have been molded in as well. So who knows? But I'm pretty stoked with it. It turned out, and as far as like props go that I built, it's one of the less expensive ones. I don't remember what I paid, but it was not a ton of money. So I think that's pretty cool. I know that I saw recently there was somebody in the junkyard, which I think is the seller that had it. That has the molds and stuff like that, and it was like $300 he wanted for one that he already had painted up. So. I'm just glad I was able to get my hands on one from him that was unpainted. That was pretty cool, because I don't like to buy props that are already done for the most part. I mean, I do here and there, but most of the time I like a project. So anyways, affiliate links down in the description. Please like, subscribe, share. I wouldn't mind that either. And now I just got to figure out where I'm gonna put it. Or maybe I should just put it on.